Hello, it's 11 a.m. here in Seoul. I'm Young at the Arirang News Center. We're breaking into our regular programming to bring you a live briefing from the South Korean health authorities on the coronavirus outbreak here in South Korea. In just a few moments, we'll cut into the briefing room at the Sejong Government Complex with simultaneous interpretation available for you in English. There, Health Ministry official Yoon Tae-oh will be providing us the details on the COVID-19 situation. He's going to fill us in on the number of new infection cases as of Friday midnight, as well as the efforts that the government is making in order to contain the virus. We've now cut into the Sejong Government Complex briefing room, and it looks like the Health Ministry official is now taking to the podium, and he is going to begin his daily briefing very shortly, so let's take a listen.
Let us now begin our regular briefing for January 29th, Friday. As of today midnight, we have 445 new local infections and 24 new imported cases. And yesterday we had 13 new fatalities. I extend my deepest condolences to the deceased and the members of the bereaved families. Here are some updates on our antivirus measures. As of yesterday, we have conducted 68,000 tests on a daily basis. Yesterday, and at the makeshift testing centers nationwide, we carried out about 47,000 tests, while the makeshift testing centers in the capital area conducted about 21,000 tests. And even at this moment, if you have any suspected symptoms of COVID-19, please visit a nearby screening center and get tested as soon as possible. And here are some updates on our medical capacity. And we are trying to secure more hospital beds going forward, and therefore we have a sufficient medical capacity to deal with our COVID-19 cases. And currently, we have more than 14,000 tests for those with light symptoms here in Korea, and also we have about 1,500 medical professionals who have been mobilized to the scene. And here are some incentives for the compensation for the hospitals who have been treating COVID-19 patients. And starting from this year, we will be increasing the intensive benefits by 10%. And as for the hospital that have been treating COVID-19 patients, we will going to provide more incentives going forward, and we will be tentatively calculate the losses that they have incurred, and we will be giving out some allowances. And we have also given out about 10 billion Korean won, and about 1 trillion Korean won has been given to about 365 hospitals nationwide so far. And we also aimed to provide similar incentives, about 3.5 billion Korean won to pharmacies, drugstores, and so forth. And also we have given about 50 billion Korean won to for 100,000 facilities nationwide. And we have some updates on our COVID-19 response for the homeless people. Recently, we have seen a homeless people shelter, and we have conducted a massive screening test at these facilities, and we have identified 22 confirmed patients. And up until now, we have been carrying out some quarantine measures for these specific shelters, and we have made a similar monitoring scheme, and we have been working together with the local governments as well. And as for going into the life treatment centers for these homeless people, when they have the COVID-19 testings, we have been carrying out another round of COVID-19 testing before they have been admitted to these life treatment centers. And in order to intensify our quarantine measures for them, we will be carrying out a regular massive screening test for these people. And as for the local governments that see the need to intensify more testing, we will cooperate going forward. And we will also provide some updates on the latest cluster infections here in South Korea. As for the IM mission group, we have seen continued testings for about 40 facilities nationwide, and we have identified about 334 patients who have tested positive at about 7 facilities nationwide. We are conducting tracing and epidemiological investigations on these people who have been tested positive. We also issued executive orders for other facilities to carry out these testings. And if you are subject to these testings, please get the testing as soon as possible to prevent the further spread of the virus locally. And as for the non-accredited educational facilities, we will be intensifying our quarantine measures, and we will also be carrying out massive testing for these non-accredited education facilities going forward. And in Busan, we have seen the Kamcheon port, which have seen another large-scale cluster infection. And until yesterday, we have seen about 27 people working at the port who have tested positive. We are conducting epidemiological investigation. However, we identified that they were staying at these resting centers and the shelters together. And we also aimed to decrease the crowdedness of these resting areas. And we will also be carrying out 3 times on a weekly basis disinfection for these ports going forward. And for other ports nationwide, we will also intensify our antivirus measures. And during the past week, we have seen 421 domestic cases on a daily basis. While we had a slow downturn in the cases, we are seeing a rebound in the number of daily cases. Therefore, we are taking utmost priority in monitoring the situation. We are seeing also increase in the local transmissions as well as cluster infections stemming from the IM mission group, leading to many multi-use facilities, including cafes, office spaces, and saunas. And however, we also believe that it is very difficult for the quarantine authorities to look into every situation, all corners of the country, because of the complexity. And thus, we ask the public to refrain from going to 3C environment, which is crowded and confined and close contact environment. Because if a moment of complacency could lead to a large-scale infection, we ask you to take particular precaution. And especially during the weekend, please cancel any outings and gatherings, and please comply with the quarantine measures. Yesterday, we announced vaccination plans for South Korea yesterday. And in order to carry out this plan smoothly, it is very important that we have management and have a good management of the COVID-19 cases here in South Korea. And the government will also like to ensure to return our people to a state of normalcy, and we will also exert our full efforts. Thank you very much.
That was a government briefing on the COVID-19 situation here in the country. As of Friday midnight, South Korea reported 469 new cases of the COVID-19 virus, surpassing the 77,000 mark. There have also been 13 more deaths, raising the death toll to 1,399. We'll wrap up the coverage here, but we will be back at 12 p.m. Korea time with our midday news with Mark Broom. Bye for now.
Korea is in the midst of its 3rd wave of COVID-19. Frontline medical workers are fighting COVID-19 in the freezing cold. They warm their icy hands with space heaters and portable hand warmers. Several districts are renovating their testing sites to provide shelter from the cold for medical workers. To ensure that their hard work and sacrifice do not go to waste, let's remain socially distant this holiday season. Overcoming COVID-19 together. Let's all stick to the basics.
The concern about fine dust has become a daily issue. Particularly, parents who have young or growing children are more sensitive to it. We look into 날마다 자라는 아이, a developer of a portable air purifier which washes away their worries. More and more companies are actively working on finding ways to create a better environment as a growing number of consumers take interest in the environment. The firm 날마다 자라는 아이 has been in the spotlight in the related sector for making baby goods that protect children from the aggravating pollution problem.
날마다 자라는 아이는 아기를 위한 그런 창의적인 제품을 만드는 회사예요. 제가 처음 만든 제품은요, 에어토리라고 유모차에 부착하는 형태의 공기청정기입니다. 유모차에 부착하는 형태의 공기청정기를 만든 이유가요, 아기를 키우다 보면은 미세먼지 있는 날 밖에를 못 나가게 되잖아요. 근데 뭐 병원이라든지 뭐 등원이라든지 꼭 나가야 될 일이 생겨요. 저희 집사람도 그것 때문에 매우 힘들어 했었는데, 그래서 이제 밖에 나갈 때 좀 도움을 줄 수 있는 제품이 있으면 좋지 않을까 생각해서 이제 이런 유모차에 부착하는 형태의 그런 휴대용 공기청정기를 개발하게 됐어요.
The portable air cleaner Air Tory for a stroller